it's a very unique definition of humility. I like it. To both feel and display regard for other people's dignity. Feel
Yeah.
and display regard for other people's dignity. It's an interesting one. Very interesting one. Um, so how? Okay, so you've given me my 6 behavioral keys. You've said that I have to say who I am, which is to have the ego balance and to have some integrity. I have to define the direction for the team, which has to do with a compelling vision and an ethical strategy. And then I have to make sure that I have generous inclusion for people, and another one that is embracing all the
Develop.
stakes. Development mindset, right? Developing. I got 5. I thought I was
You've
doing
got
pretty
great
good.
developmental focus is the last one.
Developmental focus. So, how can you give us some tips on what I can do to improve and pick any one of those areas that you find is the biggest problem?
So I think a couple of tips. I think ego balance is a tricky one because a lot of leaders, you need to be strong, you need to be confident, decisive. And so some of them do tip into arrogance,
Mhm.
especially as they get higher and higher, and often really uh, don't realize how important it is to dial back once they
Mhm.
have power. I have this informal sense in my mind when I'm doing coaching too of saying, you don't see it on your forehead, Wanda, but you have a big P right there. It's
Yeah.
power. And when I look at you, that's what I see is not just Wanda, your name, your personality, but the power that you have over me. And so leaders, when they are in a position above someone, really need to kind of dial back the ego, or other people get squashed and they're not going to say much about it. They just sort of feel lessened. Um, I have found that when leaders have reasonable self awareness, it's pretty straightforward to coach them in this. A lot of it is simply having this kind of conversation, helping them understand that other people have and need a sense of dignity, and that you need to do a dance between being humble enough to support their dignity and still being strong about the performance expectations. So I think that's one that's pretty readily coached if a person has self-awareness and growth mindset.